After U.S. strike on Iranian school, months pass without answers. That's the headline from the New York Times, and it's one that deserves a closer look. On February 28th, a U.S. Tomahawk missile struck the Shajara Tayyibeh Elementary School in the town of Minab, Iran. It was a Saturday, the start of the Iranian workweek, which means children and teachers were in class. At least 175 people were killed, most of them children. Pentagon officials knew within minutes that they were responsible. Within days, as satellite images, videos, and first-hand accounts flooded the news, American officials privately admitted the truth: the U.S. military had made a tragic mistake. And within 2 weeks, the first part of a preliminary investigation was complete. The conclusion? A targeting error caused by outdated data imagery that hadn't been updated in 7 years, imagery that didn't show a school sitting next to the military base they thought they were hitting. Here's the part that's hard to get past. Several years before the strike, one analyst had apparently noticed the building looked like a school. That analyst told one other person. The information never reached the targeting officials. The site continued to be revalidated as a legitimate military target. And then they hit it twice. The second strike is what the military calls a double tap. More than 5 days later, U.S. officials have still not publicly acknowledged responsibility. The investigation is reportedly complete, sitting on a desk somewhere, waiting for sign-off from senior military leaders, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and the White House. When it will be released, if ever, is unclear. The Pentagon's only public statement has been, the incident is still under investigation. Meanwhile, the Pentagon's own Inspector General released a report last month finding that the U.S. military no longer has the personnel or tools needed to comply with its own civilian casualties policy that's required by federal law. By the way, Hegseth had already begun dismantling the offices responsible for civilian harm mitigation before this strike happened. Former officials are not mincing words. Wes Bryant, a former senior policy analyst on precision warfare, said people need to be fired, and that senior commanders should potentially face charges under the Uniform Code of Military Justice for what he called incredible negligence. He added, there's no fog of war excuse here. To put this in historical context, this is the worst civilian casualty incident caused by the U.S. military since 1999, when a stealth aircraft bombed a civilian shelter in Baghdad and killed more than 30 people. President Trump, in the days after the strike, actually blamed Iran for it, even though Iran doesn't have Tomahawk missiles. At a congressional hearing last month, when a Democratic congressman asked the head of Central Command to simply acknowledge the mistake, the admiral replied, the United States does not deliberately target civilians. That's technically not an answer to the question. Senator Jack Reed put it plainly, in a highly professional military, the facts get established, responsibility gets determined, and accountability gets enforced, and right now, none of that has happened for 175 people, most of them children, who were in school on a Saturday morning.